Same pull the trigger to kill your son, masturbates in memory of you.
That's an extreme recklessness, and that's intent. That's maliciousness. That's a definition of malice.
Individual would be found over for General Sessions Court.
This is Danta Wright. Wright is one of 3 teenagers who were accused of causing the death of Jordan Klee. Jordan was found dead on October 4, 2016, on a pathway near Pine Lake Village on the west side of Ann Arbor. Court records suggest that Wright, along with Jamarius Ellison and Del Reno Gracie, were charged with attempting to steal controlled substances, clothes, and/or shoes. The 3 men allegedly ambushed Jordan while trying to steal his belongings. Jordan, who was a strong athlete, fought back, but unfortunately, Wright shot him in the back of the head, tragically ending his promising life. During Danta's trial, we had the opportunity to listen to a heartbreaking statement written by Jordan's devastated mother.
Jordan Michael Klee, born July 26, 1998. Murdered October 4, 2016, at 18 years old.
But just take a look at Danta's smirking and smiling demeanor as the statements are being read.
You won't get the luxury of raising your child because you took mine away.
Following that, Danta Wright proceeds to share his own statement with the court. It becomes evident that he displays a lack of consideration for anyone or anything.
I just want to tell y'all, I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon. I love my family.
However, Danta didn't do himself any favors with the judge, who strongly disapproved of the defendant's behavior in court.
Sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal. I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial. And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there.
The judge even considered revoking the entire plea deal as a consequence. Danta's defense lawyer attempted to argue that the reactions were not intended to be offensive.
His smiling was in no way meant as disrespectful either to the family, to the victim, or to this court.
It's highly unlikely that anyone finds that argument convincing. Considering Dante's reactions, it's actually fortunate that he received a sentence of 25 to 52 years. Someone who displays such a lack of remorse is likely to commit similar offenses again if given the chance. This is Jacob Morgan. After being sentenced to life in prison for starting the fire that tragically claimed the life of his young stepbrother on October 26, 2021, Jacob intentionally set his own residence on fire, resulting in the death of his own brother, Joshua Alexander Hill. As a result, he was charged with the murder of his sibling and subsequently received a 15-year prison sentence. Jacob Morgan is evidently fully conscious of the grave mistake he made, which tragically took the life of an innocent person and caused immense devastation to numerous others.
That it got out of control, that's an extreme recklessness, and that's intent. That's maliciousness. That's a definition of malice.
The teenager's remorse and regret for his thoughtless actions are palpable through his reactions.
That's an extreme recklessness, and that's intent. That's maliciousness. That's a definition of malice.
As the judge delivers the ruling, Jacob Morgan begins to pray and cry.
He has to take responsibility.
However, the judge displayed minimal sympathy and instead delivered a harsh dose of reality to Jacob by sentencing him to life in prison.
So therefore, I am going to find that there is probable cause to charge the individual with be found over for General Sessions Court for late charges.
One can just see the sheer terror on his face and hear the anguish in his cries as he comprehends the gravity of the situation unfolding before him. This serves as a lesson to never toy with fire. This is Keandra Cooks, an 18-year-old woman who received a 20-year prison sentence for orchestrating a robbery through a dating app, leading to the shooting of another teenager. Alongside her former boyfriend, Kendrick Bass, Cooks attempted to entice Manny Purcell and his friend by using the dating app, luring them to South Daytona. Manny Purcell, anticipating a fun outing, tragically ended up being shot and carjacked. Both Kendrick and Keandra faced the legal consequences of their actions and had to appear in court for their crimes. In this scene, we witness Keandra stepping forward to address the judge before awaiting her sentencing.
I'm sorry, could have been wrong. that her son had to get shot because I didn't even know he was going to get shot. My boyfriend and his friends get me to do this.
Based on discussions with their defense attorney, both Keandra Cooks and her mother believed that she would not be facing any imprisonment.
Chance so I can get out and finish school and I get my mama proud because I want to be her first child to bring home high school diploma.
So, you can imagine their shock and horror when the judge pronounced a 20-year sentence as the verdict. As Circuit Judge Matthew Foxman pronounced the sentence, Keandra Cook's mother collapsed to the ground and unleashed heart-wrenching cries. The anguished cries of grief from Cook's mother were so loud that the judge had to repeat the sentencing later for the court clerk. Witnessing her mother collapsing to the floor in overwhelming emotion, Keandra finally comprehends the seriousness of the situation she finds herself in and subsequently breaks down herself. This is Nicholas Lindsay, who, on February 21, 2011, in Tampa Bay, committed the heinous act of shooting and killing police officer David Crawford. Officer Crawford had responded to a late-night call regarding a suspicious individual near Tropicana Field. Upon arriving at the scene, Officer Crawford encountered Nicholas Lindsay and approached him. Subsequently, Officer Donald Ziegler heard the sounds of gunfire and promptly reported the incident over the radio.
I got shots fired over here. Shots fired. I got an officer shot. 4th Avenue South. Tell him to step it up.
Ziegler arrived at the scene to discover Crawford lying near his police car. Crawford had been shot multiple times at close range when he reached for a notepad. Following the incident, a large-scale manhunt was initiated for Nicholas Lindsay, involving over 200 officers from various agencies across Tampa Bay. Lindsay was eventually apprehended, although he denied being responsible for Officer Crawford's death.
I do it, and I'm telling you, I not do it.
Who did it?
When his parents were summoned into the interrogation room, they embraced him tightly as he broke down in tears. They attempted to console him while urging him to confess the truth.
It's gonna be okay, son. It's gonna be okay, son.
To help you.
This is our point.
You need to talk to us.
The camera in the interrogation room goes offline temporarily, but when the audio returns, it becomes evident that the parents have successfully persuaded him on what course of action to take.
You're doing the right thing right now. You're owning up to your responsibility. It's okay, son. This is the price we pay for the things we do.
However, as you will witness during the sentencing, Nicholas Lindsay's fleeting remorse quickly dissipated. Upon learning that he was sentenced to life in prison, an unsettling sadistic grin appeared on his face, despite the knowledge that he would be spending the remainder of his life behind bars. Officer Crawford's daughter expressed her thoughts on the matter as follows.
This was served, and I'm glad it's over, and it just kind of proves to me that he's an animal as he sat there smiling.
Even his own mother was left speechless after witnessing his reaction.
The judge ordered, so that's what it is. It is what it is.
This is TJ Lane, a remorseless individual who was found guilty of brutally murdering 3 of his fellow high school students on February 27, 2012. The tragic incident took place at Chardon High School in Chardon, Ohio, where 6 students were shot, resulting in the loss of 3 innocent lives. The perpetrator behind these heinous acts was Thomas TJ Lane, a 17-year-old former student of Chardon High School. Lane was swiftly apprehended by the police near his parked car outside the school. Subsequently, he was charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of aggravated attempted murder, and 1 count of felonious assault. Later in the same month, the authorities decided to charge Lane as an adult. He entered a guilty plea and was sentenced to 3 life terms in prison, with no chance of parole. As TJ enters the room, it becomes evident that he defies his lawyer's advice by unbuttoning his shirt once he sits down. TJ persists in unbuttoning his shirt, revealing a t-shirt with the word killer written across his chest. His personality and complete absence of remorse are unmistakable, particularly evident in his final statement directed at the families of the victims.
Same pull the trigger, they killed your son, masturbates in memory of you.
That was just a glimpse into the disturbed mindset of Thomas T.J. Lane.
All right, that's all your client has to say, Mr. Tweed.
Fortunately, the families of the victims had the chance to express their thoughts directly to T.J. Lane.
I hate you for the pain you have caused, Nick. You chased him down the hall and fired the last bullet that paralyzed him.
Take a look at how he smiles and smirks while the victims' statements are being delivered.
Things I was looking forward to, I will never get to see. My baby brother graduate high school, go to college, graduate college, get married, have children. I will never be an aunt, and my children will never know their uncle.
He was a mere baby, my baby. That murderer could have never been a fraction of the man Danny was going to be. He doesn't deserve to breathe the air that I breathe.
That child stole my baby's life, and he should never be able to do this to anyone ever again.
Surprisingly, even while TJ was serving his sentence in prison, he managed to escape along with another inmate just 1 year after being sentenced.
The daring escape overnight. TJ Lane climbed a prison fence last night with 2 prison inmates.
He did scale our perimeter fence, and again, this is an ongoing investigation.
TJ Lane was on the run, and the police were not willing to take any risks.
With one of the corrections officers, he advised that the 2 that we're trying to track down are both doing life. They've got nothing to lose here, so be alert.
Having witnessed TJ's behavior throughout his trial and sentencing, the police were well aware of the nature of the individual they were dealing with. As a result, they swiftly captured and apprehended him.
Which inmate? I believe it's the young one. TJ Lane. He's in custody.
The facts are, I'm happy to announce that we have Mr. Lane back in our custody.
Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Watch this next.